Today I'm gonna show how I turned my game from this into this in only one day by doing 5 simple and quick additions to our game. As a reference and main inspiration, we will take a look at Mario Kart Deluxe 8 and see what we can pick and put into our game to make it more juicy and fun to play. The first and most obvious that our game needs is brightness and vibrant colors. To achieve this, we are going to add post-processing. Post-processing is image effects that you can add to your main camera, and that gives us multiple cool effects to choose from. From here, it's all about experimenting and try different effects until you are satisfied with the result. I added bloom, ambient occlusion and some color grading for that warm and bright feeling that we are trying to mimic from Mario Kart. If we compare our game to Mario Kart, the distance between camera and player is shorter in Mario Kart, and that gives the game a more intense feeling in my opinion. The next step is the camera follow. Let's adjust the camera distance and see how it looks and how it feels to play. Like anything else, this is a matter of taste and personal preferences, but I think I like this camera follow a lot better now than before. In Mario Kart there's a ton of effects going on in every frame. One thing that is used to amplify the feeling of speed and action is air trails or speed lines. They are used to illustrate high speed and are often seen in jumps. Let's try to add that to our game as well. I try to mimic this with Unity's particle system. When I was satisfied with the result, I added the particle system to the player as a child object and then wrote a couple of lines of code to be able to change the distance to the particles when the player jumps. When player is in air, the particle effect has a greater distance in Z-axis than while on ground. I think this addition amplifies the feeling of speed and action pretty well. Let's move on. Just like speedlines, another effective way to illustrate and amplify action and speed is to add dust particles from the tires. Let's add dust smoke behind the rear wheel of the scooter by using the particle system once again. This was a quite small and modest addition, but I think it adds a lot to the game feel. And while we're at it, let's also add some dust to the landing. And this is the current state of the game right now. The last addition I want to add to the game is some kind of fog and smoke. Fog and smoke is just a cool effect, and in our case it's a good way to illustrate that the game is taking place in a city high up in the air. It's also an effective way to hide the bottom of the skyscrapers. And once again we are using the Unity particle system. Okay, this is what I was able to do in one day. There are of course much more polishing we can do. Comment below if you have any more suggestions on polishing. Thank you for watching and hope seeing you in the next devlog.